Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at all of the orbs and how you can find them, complete them, and obviously make progress in the quest for the Felcyle mount in World of Warcraft. Now this is assuming you have done the first two parts, which is to obtain the inert key and to obtain the peculiar gem. I'll leave links to them in the top right hand corner. Once you've completed those two parts, you can then transition to this video. So get ready and see you guys. So go watch those and then come back here and let's continue. So let's go. The first thing we need to do is head to the Karazhan Catacombs. Now the fastest way to get there is going to be to go through the Legion zone. So if you take your Dalaran Hearthstone, there is a portal at the bottom of Dalaran that will take you to Karazhan. Your only other option will be to head to the Eastern Kingdoms and to catch a flight path down to Deadwind Pass, but it's not really the fastest method, so rather do this. You can head to Dalaran, basically get onto your mount or whatever. You go through here to this section. So you go through here to the Chamber of Guardian, you go into this little teleporter, and then you go down, and at the end here you'll find a teleporter to Karazhan. So if you come to the Karazhan Catacombs, you can find it here. The waypoint is 4769, so you can find it here. It's basically across from the portal along the side of Karazhan by this little cave here. Once you're here, you need to make sure that you have the peculiar key in your inventory, so make sure that you have completed the first two portions, and then you need to activate your Torch of Pilot. Once you've done that, the portal will open and you can enter the instance, which is pretty cool. Now once you are inside the instance, you will be tasked with finding rats that will ask you to explore the location. You can do anything in here and your progress will be saved. Now it's suggested that you go and complete all of the puzzles in order, so we'll be doing that. You can make a slight variation, but it's not really advised. Anyway, as you explore this dungeon, eventually you will come to the point where you find the Felcyle. So as you can see, we are at the back of the dungeon, and you can see that there is the Felcyle here, so it's pretty great. Obviously, what you're going to have to do is now complete each of these orbs and make sure that you have all of them completed. As you complete them all, you will be able to essentially eventually unlock the mount, and it's going to be pretty important. We'll be doing them in order, so just follow along, and yeah, that's it. Before you begin the clues and the orbs, I highly suggest you get familiar with where Vashti the Wandering Merchant is. He's a merchant that walks along the right hand side of Azuna in Legion, and he looks like a ghostly night elf, and the reason you want to get familiar with where he is because there's a lot of items that you have to end up buying from him, and because of that it's just good to get really familiar with where he is. Basically it helps you a lot. So yeah, the puzzles start at 12 being here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, just like the hands of a clock. This puzzle will be dealing with number 1, which is going to be the concept of love. For this one, you need to make sure that you have your Torch of Pyreth. You'll need to have it active at all times, and you're going to need to visit the following 4 locations. Once you visited them, you will get a stack of the Lights of Love, which we'll see now. The first location you have to visit will be in the Northern Barrens. Here you can see it on your map. Easiest way for Horde characters will be to head to Orgrimmar. For Alliance characters, it will probably be to head to Tanaris through the Chamber of Time. Once you are there, you will need to find Olgra, and once you have found Olgra, you will just have to simply have the torch next to her. So you can see here we have this humble monument. we need to activate our Torch of Pyrith, and we'll be given the Light of their Love, which will give us a 3-hour buff. So we have to complete this in 3 hours. The next one requires us to head to Olgra in Nagrand, Draenor. So this one we need to be very careful. There are 2 places where there's a Nagrand. There's one in Outland. This is not correct. You need to go to the one in Draenor, which means specifically you need to go to the Draenor one, which requires you to go to Warspear Ashran, or if you have your Garrison teleporter, you can use that one instead. Once you're in the Nagrand, by this little lake here, with the waypoint on the screen, you will find Olgra. This will give you your second stack. Should she not be here, you will need the alternative location, which you can see on screen, so you can just head there and put in the coordinates. So pretty cool and straightforward. The last place you'll need to go is in Maldraxxus. Now you can head there through either just teleporting to your hub city and obviously heading to Orbs, but if you don't want to do that, or you just want to kind of access it, you can go through the connected timeways, which you can find in Dornagal, and you can just head to Bastion or Ardenfield and then obviously fly to Maldraxxus as well. So just depends on which way you want to go, but either way is fine. Once you get there, you'll have to find Decimator Olgra, which we'll obviously show now. You will find Decimator Olgra here. Here on the map, you can see the location obviously on screen. Then you will get your 3rd buff, and once you have your 3rd buff, you can then check to see if you have the quest completed by running this macro, which is also on screen, and it will say true, and that means you've completed orb number 1, which is great. So next, well, you can see orb 1 done. Next we will deal with orb number 2. This is the orb to do with hate, and basically, yeah, for this one, not hate, pray. For this one we need to head to the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, but we are going to have to do a couple things first. So there are a couple things you're going to need before you are able to do clue number 2. So the first one is you need to unlock the N'Zoth assaults. So this one is something that's going to take a little bit of time, because you need to gain access to N'Zoth assaults on your character. Now to do this, you need to basically get through to this point with a character in BFA. If you are not able to get this active, you need to do the quest line through the beginning of BFA until you've unlocked N'Zoth assaults. So that's the first thing you have to do. Obviously, if you are not in BFA or you do not see Zendormi to see these, then you are going to have to, of course, unlock them. The next thing that you need to do is make sure that you have the perky pug pet. This is really easy to get. It requires you just to basically do looking for multitudes, which is something you probably should have done while leveling your character. So you have looking for multitudes, here you go, and this one just requires you to group with 100 random players through a raid finder, which should also be relatively simple. The next is you need either the Dog Saron or the Yip Saron costume items for your perky pug. Now these can be purchased off the auction house, or they can be purchased from the vendor. Now the vendor price is pretty expensive. For the Dog Saron, it is 25,000. For the Yip Saron, it is 150, but you can only get it during the course of Hallow's End. So if it is not currently Hallow's End, you're going to need to get the Dog Saron costume. For that one, you can either go to the auction house, which is probably the easiest way, let's put it that way, or you're going to need to go to a vendor in Azuna Legion, and you're going to need to buy it off him, which is Vashti the Wandering Vendor. Now he wanders along the right hand side of Legion. It'll cost you 25,000. He's a ghostly NPC there, And yeah, honestly speaking, it's probably just easier to buy it off the auction house, provided the price is good. It may cost you 3,000 more gold, but it's probably just easier that way. The last thing you're going to need is either the Twitching Eyeball toy, the All-Seeing Eyes, or the Gift of N'Zoth. The easiest one to get is going to be the Twitching Eyeball. The Twitching Eyeball is a toy that you can receive by completing a questline that starts with the Azuran Medallion. This questline starts with the world quest Naga Attack, which you can find in Zandazar, in Zuldazar. And if you look around, you'll see this Naga Attack quest. Go to this quest and kill enemies, and you'll find an Azuran Medallion. Once you find that, you can start a questline that will eventually lead you to obtaining the Twitching Eyeball. It is the easiest one to get, and so I highly suggest you just do this questline. It's a lot easier. It's 8 quests in total. The quests are on the screen on the right hand corner. They don't take long. Just keep killing enemies under the world quest in Zuldazar, and you will get that medallion. And yeah, that's it. Once you have all those items, you need to head to Pandaria. We're obviously going to head to the Kunlai Summit, or the Vale of Eternal Blossom, sorry, but to get there we can head to the Temple of the Jade Forest and fly from there. If you do not see the assaults open, it's because you are not in the BFA version. Come here at Mogashan Palace, which is by the raid, and speak to Zindormi. When you speak to them, you can say whether to look before the assault or after. Choose after to enter the BFA version, and you'll be able to come to the event here. You will find just right where Zindormi is if you fly to the top of her tower. So you can see her down there. Move right to the top of the tower and behind, and you'll see this little Nilotha crystal here. What you're going to need to do is you're going to need to summon your Perky Pug. So summon your Perky Pug pet. Then you need to make sure that you have the outfit equipped. So for that, you're going to need to obviously collect it from your mail if you bought it off the auction house and did not collect it beforehand. But you're going to need to collect it from your mail and then activate the item. Once you do that, your dog will have a cool little outfit on, which is great. Then you are going to need to activate the Twitching Eyeball from your toy box. And once you've done all of that, you can then target the obelisk, and it is time to pray. So you're going to go /pray, and boom, you'll receive the Key of Shadows, which is great. Now we can head back to Karazhan Catacombs, and we'll be able to unlock 2 new rooms. Once you are back at the Karazhan Catacombs, you will notice that 2 new rooms have opened. So basically this one is super duper simple, but you've already completed orb number 2, but you've unlocked 2 new chambers. So that's the main thing, because these are required for the next set of clues. So you've unlocked basically one over here, which is great, and then you've also unlocked door 430, which is also at the back here. So you've unlocked both of those doors with your shadow key, and you've completed orb number 2, which is great. As you can see, we've completed orb number 2. Now we'll move on to orb number 3, which is 3 o'clock hate. So this one requires us to head back to the chamber door that we've unlocked, and basically for this we're going to need fishing. It's going to be very important, but fishing is basically what you need here. So if you don't have fishing, go to any trainer and get yourself the fishing skill. So the chamber you will need to go to is here. You can see it obviously on your map. You can fish inside here, so you should see a fish waypoint. And basically once you are here, you will see this little batch of water here, and then you're going to just need to click fishing and wait for it to bob. You will then receive an astral key from the astral soup. So cool. Once you have the astral key, you need to open up the nearby astral chest. Once you open up the chest, you'll receive starry-eyed goggles. Take the goggles, click them, and they will be added to your toys. This basically is an item that will allow you to see certain things. So as you can see, it's kind of given us a little bit of vision here, which is great. Once you have activated this, you're going to need to click this description console here, which is to the left of the chest. And once you've done that, you will receive a new spell in your spell book. So you will receive a new spell called Input Sequence, which I think gets added in to your spell book, called Number Sequences. Here we go. So great. Now before you go and start inputting the codes around all the machines in Karazhan, you're going to want to get a couple lucky items. Now these items are on a list on the screen right now. But these lucky items you can get the lucky horseshoe from in the Anaran Plains. You can get it from the Timber Post outpost. The lucky tortillon shell, which you can obtain from the Waking Shores by the Obsidian Throne. I'll show you all these vendors now. The lucky dragon's claw from the same place, and then a couple items off the auction house, which we'll go through now. So you're going to want to speak to Grifter. You can find him here. He's a vendor, and basically you're going to want to buy from him the lucky tortillon charm and the lucky dragon's claw. Both of these items are going to help you with the section of the codes. From Faria Rocha in Timber Step Outpost, you can buy yourself the lucky horseshoe, which is also something you'll need. The next set of items, like the lucky rat's tooth, the lucky charm, and also the lucky shirt and lucky duck, can all be purchased at the auction house, and it's probably just easier to buy them this way. Mainly because it's, like I say, cheap and super easy to get, and basically you will be able to just make a lot of a better time. And with that, you're essentially saving yourself a lot of problems. Be careful just when buying the lucky charm that you're buying the right lucky charm. It's the cheap one for 19 gold. Looks like this. Don't buy the expensive one for 900 gold. So yeah, lucky charm, lucky rat's tooth, lucky shirt, and then once you've done all that, you are ready to go. Now you don't need to equip any of these or do anything with them. You just have them in your inventory and you are ready to go. For the lucky duck pet, you don't necessarily need it, but yeah, that's it. So then we can head back to Karazhan and input all the codes. So remember to activate your starry-eyed goggles once you return to Karazhan. Then you can head to the various consoles. Once you're there, click them, activate your number sequence abilities, which will switch off while you are currently suffering from flame damage. So yeah, just gonna have to wait that out. But once you do that, you're going to enter the codes. When you enter the codes, it will open up a container for you. So enter in the codes through the number ability you can see here. In this situation, for the first one, it's 8, 8, 2, 2, 4, 6, 4, 6, and this will allow you to open up a container once you click it. So a magnifying glass will pop up on your head, and the container nearby will open up, and you can open it up and get a piece of hate. You will need 9 of these to complete this section. So we'll go through each chest now. The next one is here in the second room, so located here. And at this one, the code is 171123117. Once you've done that, click on it and you will see a little chest open up here. This encrypted puzzle box that you can get the next piece of hate. From now on, I'm just going to basically give you guys the codes and the locations. to save you a bit of time watching me put them in. The next one is here. In this location, you can find it by the skeleton Rubinstein. The code is 52233, and you get it from the safe underneath. The next one is here, opposite the starting room on your map. This one's code is 10638, and you'll loot it from the chest next door. The next one is just around the corner, over here, across from the snake statue. This one, the code is 5661. The next one is at the back of the room with the Felcyle. At this one, the code is 115, and you loot the chest that is next door to it. So pretty simple. The next one is at the front of the dungeon, at the base of the staircase. This one's code is 19019. The next one is here, in this location, at the back by this blockage with all the rubble. Here, you insert the code 51567, and you will loot it from this little chest next to it. The last chest is basically at all of these lucky slot machines, which you can find by the Felcyle. You're going to need to click on any of these machines and enter the code 777. Some people have stated that the code 77777, so 5 sevens, works for them. Some people are saying 7 sevens work for them. Some people are saying 9 sevens work for them. I find that 5 sevens works for me, and it just depends on the amount of items. I think the more items you have, the less sevens you have to basically have, if that makes sense. So yeah. So yeah, just keep going. I know it seems a bit weird, but just keep going until you have basically the right amount. And eventually what will happen is you will get your treasure. So eventually just keep going, and basically eventually the treasure will kick in and you'll be able to open up the box. Once you have completed it, you will get the piece automatically, and the third orb will open up. The last orb we'll be looking at in this video is the fourth orb. Now the fourth orb is actually pretty straightforward. Basically, you need to head to Uther's tomb. You can try and go there with and hope that the Doomguard enemy is up. But first, I would suggest rather going to Vashti if you're not a warlock, and basically buying the scroll of Fellbinding from him, which obviously we'll take a look at now. You're going to want to buy a scroll of Fellbinding from Vashti, who's the wandering merchant that you can find in Azuna, and from him you're going to want to buy this, as you're going to need it for this clue. But yeah, it'll cost 500 gold, or you can have a warlock friend, but it's probably just easiest to have this. Once you have the scroll, or once you have a warlock in your party, or once you are a warlock, you can then head over to Uther's tomb, which is in the Hillsbrad foothills. I was going to say foothills. It's a short flight away, but basically, to cut a long story short, you're going to want to head there. Once you are at Uther's tomb, you can then use your scroll that you purchased from Vashti, or of course you can use your room, your ritual of doom, your ritual of doom if you're a warlock. So you can basically use this, and you can create a doom guard. Once you've done that, there will be some graffiti that will pop up on the floor, and if you obviously don't end up killing yourself, which is great, you can then go and press that graffiti, which is obviously very crucial. You'll see this graffiti on the floor, and you basically want to click that graffiti here. So yeah, click any of the graffiti and you are good. You can also use this macro to check that you are done. So you can see true, okay, awesome. Defeat your Doom Guard, or leave him, you know, if you want to, it's up to you. And then you are good to go. That is the 4th orb completed. We will cover the next 4 orbs in a separate video. But yeah, basically that is it for now. I will see you guys in the next one pretty soon, trying to knock them out in segments of 4. But yeah, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.